Good afternoon, my name is Fred Ortiz and welcome to my What's New Autodesk Revit 2016 R2 Lunch and Learn. Sorry about the mishap right there. Today's Lunch and Learn is the fifth of six in a series of Lunch and Learns that have been taking place over the last couple of months, with the last Lunch and Learn of the year taking place on December 16th. For those of you who have been along for the ride since my first Lunch and Learn and back in October, I appreciate your dedication and thanks again for spending your valuable lunch hours with me. And for those of you who are new to my Lunch and Learn series and missed the last four, no worries. I will be continuing my Lunch and Learn series with new topics beginning in January 2016. As previously mentioned, the series was specifically set up for you, our customers, to continue to educate you and your company with efficient ways of doing things when it comes to your CAD BIM software. Ketiv is a resource that you all have and a resource that we want you to utilize for your software and training needs. Really quick, I also have Terry Anderick on this webcast. He is your AEC account manager. Terry, how you doing?
Doing well.
All right, that's good to hear. All right, so moving on.
Fred, I'm hoping
Yes,
you've
sir.
got a good holiday offering for us here.
Not as good as the turkey I ate over the holiday, but it'll do.
There you go.
All right, so as far as our agenda, I will begin today's Lunch and Learn by letting you all know about how and where to get the latest Revit 2016 R2 update. I will then be going over all of the new features and enhancements available to you when you install and utilize the R2 update, which has a much faster software performance. It has some smarter tools, and it improves your professional productivity. Lastly, during my live session, I will be focusing in on a handful of Revit 2016 R2's features and enhancements, including the family element visibility setting, the per user Revit link upload, the wall join type, the view underlay and orientation improvements, and the fabrication part modeling enhancements. Really quick though, for those of you new to my Lunch and Learn series, let me give you a brief introduction of my industry background before I joined the Ketiv team. So I have relatively 20 years of industry experience, such as working for an MEP engineering firm, where I worked on numerous AutoCAD, Revit, and MicroStation projects, all of them ranging from California universities to California state and community colleges, and multiple ports and government facilities. I also worked for a film editing equipment manufacturing company back in the day as a CNC machinist, a machine builder, and a hand drafter, before moving on to using AutoCAD 13 to produce the company's blueprints. So before I actually jump into my PowerPoint presentation, which explains in detail the new features and enhancements of the Revit 2016 R2 update, let's talk a little bit about how you can find and install the R2 update for yourselves. So this is a subscription release, so everybody on subscription has access to this. So if you are on subscription and already have Revit 2016 installed, you can simply access the Autodesk Application Manager, click on the Update Software button, and then locate the Revit 2016 R2 update and install it, and you should be good to go. And if you can't find the R2 update on the Application Manager, you could always go to your Autodesk Manage account if you are on subscription and click on the Products and Services button, and then click on the Product Updates and install it that way. And like anything, if you have trouble finding or installing the R2 update, feel free to give me a call and I could definitely help you out. So like I said, the Revit R2 update is released exclusively to subscription customers. Revit 2016 R2 builds on the speed and project performance improvements that are already available to you in the 2016 release of Revit. So the Revit R2 update makes Revit 2016 software, like I said, faster, with even better performance that translates to faster navigation, speedier work processes, and ultimately improved project performance for Revit users. It's smarter with new features including global parameters that gives Revit users powerful tools to capture and embed design intent on your Revit projects. And it's better with enhancements and improvements that make day-to-day operations in Revit faster and easier to use. Quick side note, many of the new features and enhancements in R2 were suggested by Revit users, kind of like you guys, who rely and know the software best, which is pretty cool if you ask me. All right, so let's move on. All right, so since Revit 2016 R2 is a subscription release, it minimizes the disruption of having to upgrade your software by making the new features available to you in the same file format. This helps make Revit users more productive and integrates with their existing projects with other users who are still using Revit 2016. Autodesk Revit 2016 R2 includes over 25 updates, which is a lot, and many of them, like I said, are requested by users like yourselves. And with further improved software performance and scalability behind the scenes, plus many new features included. The new features and enhancements of Revit 2016 R2 enable users to more effectively and efficiently capture the design intent. And as I previously stated, Revit R2 is fully compatible with the existing Revit 2016 release and does not have a file format change, which is really important. So users can simply install the update without disrupting existing ongoing projects in Revit 2016. It's like a seamless transition. All right, so as far as my PowerPoint, bear with me, I have a few slides to show you guys and talk about. But let's begin with the new features, functionality, and enhancements for architects, as well as Revit platform tools for MEP guys and structural engineers. All right, so to help improve productivity, Revit 2016 R2 will now only draw elements that are visible, enabling you to regenerate views more quickly during navigation while orbiting, panning, or zooming. With the Draw Visible Elements Only option activated, Revit doesn't draw elements that are hidden. So if you can't see it, Revit doesn't draw it. And this occlusion culling option improves performance as Revit works only on displaying the visible elements of a view. The result is navigation that is nearly twice as fast as the original Revit 2016, which is pretty cool. The progressive view updates also, and the occlusion culling performance happens at the GPU level, which is your graphics processing unit, instead of at the CPU level, which is your central processing unit. This feature sets Revit apart from other BIM software and takes advantage of your available hardware to help you improve performance and productivity in the office. And the benefit of this is now you can experience faster performance when displaying and manipulating your views, which is pretty cool. All right, this is another good one right here. The Global Parameters feature in Revit 2016 R2 enables you to drive dimension and element instance parameters with project-wide parameters. So with R2, you can create a global parameter to measure dimensions and calculate formulas to drive dimensions and parameter values in other elements in your project. For example, previously elements like a beam or something like that wouldn't adjust when the floor slab thickness changed. It would just remain the same. So with global parameters, you can now associate the parameter to the beam, so when the slab thickness does change, the beam will adjust to match. So global parameters are comprised of two classes. There's a DGP, or a driving global parameter, which can push its value into an element or an instance parameter. And then you have an RGP, or reporting global parameter, which can pull a value from a dimension and use that value in other global parameters. So with global parameters, you are able to use equality dimensions to constrain any dimensions, including those that are non-adjacent. You can also use global parameters to automate the positioning of one element based on the size of another element, like we talked about with the beam and the slab. Global parameters also enable you to capture formulaic relationships directly in your Revit model, and you can now design more efficiently with the ability to embed design intent in your model by bringing the parametric power of your Revit families into the project environment. So what this does is it allows you to design more efficiently with the ability to embed design intent in your model. It's pretty cool. All right, so the family element visibility preview feature, excuse me on that, helps you see your design intent by filtering out geometries that are not viewed and making only the geometry that will be loaded into your project visible. You can work more quickly by previewing the geometries and making your adjustments before loading your family into your project. So in plan views, the preview visibility tool setting allows you to preview what your family will look like when loaded into your project environment or when you see it in a projection view. So now with this benefit, you can now improve productivity with faster modeling when loading your families into projects, by making it easier to create the family with the precise desired behavior. All right. So with the improved automatic thermal zoning in the Revit 2016 R2 release, thermal zones are now represented in the energy model as analytical spaces. So in most cases, this will improve the accuracy of the energy analytic model. And best of all, you don't have to be an energy engineer to use the automatic thermal zoning, which I'm not, and it was able to work for me, so we're all good. And you may already be familiar with HVA system zoning, where systems are split up by the design engineer for efficiency, scale, and for control of the specific spaces. But thermal zoning is a little different. Thermal zoning accounts for the variation in heat gain loss throughout the building envelope due to the orientation by dividing the envelope perimeter into smaller spaces. The new thermal zoning improvements are only available when you use the analysis mode in Revit and use conceptual masses in building element setting from the energy settings dialog box. And the benefit of this is it's most valuable to you during an early design process before you start adding more detailed interior modeling and HVA zoning. So if you do this thermal zoning before the project gets too big, it's probably best for your project. All right, this is a pretty cool feature. Because before you couldn't copy and paste elements in your 3D views, perspective views, but now with Autodesk Revit 2016 R2, it enables you to use the copy command in perspective views, allowing you to copy and place objects in a perspective view. So if you have a window, like in the image right there, you have a window, you want to copy it over in a perspective view, it allows you now, which is a cool feature. So it makes your design more efficient with the ability to control model elements more effectively. That was a pretty cool feature. All right, so let's jump into the customer requested features that are included in the Revit 2016 R2 update. So we have enhanced Revit links, which is a new positioning option called Auto Project Base Point to Project Base Point, which is now available when inserting Revit links. This option positions the linked file using the model's project base point as the insertion point, and it aligns it to the project base point in the host model. This is a valuable alternative for Revit projects where you don't want to utilize the shared coordinates option, which could be a pain to use sometimes. And what this does is it improves productivity and better aligns your Revit models. This is another cool one right here. We have your cancel multi-sheet print export. So in Revit 2016 R2, users can now easily cancel print or the export of multiple views and sheets with just one click of a button to cancel the print jobs or export operations of all the selected views and sheets. And to be honest, I really can't believe it took so long to get this simple cancel button added to Revit. I think it's finally about time. And what this does, it improves productivity and obviously saves paper if you're sending out a big plot and you realize you made a mistake. So now you can actually just click the cancel button and you're done. All right, so view filter UI improvements. So the filters dialog box has been improved to make it easier to find your specific filters in the list. So filters are now listed in alphabetical order and sorted in a tree kind of structure with heading for rule-based and selection-based filters. And what this does, it makes it easier and more efficient to find your specific filters in the list, which helps you design better and faster. So that's a nice improvement to your user interface. All right, revision enhancements. So additional information is now available for revisions to make it easier for you to see exactly how the revision number will be generated and to select the revisions to be included in your revision schedule. The sheet issues/revisions dialog box now has a new column for revision number. When numbering is set to per project, this column will display the actual revision number that will be generated based on the sequence, numbering scheme, and numbering options. This column does not display if numbering is set to per sheet. It has to be set per project. And the revision on the sheet dialog box has also been enhanced to show additional data. So now you can list the revision sequence information as part of the revision column and display the revision date column as well, allowing you to design more efficiently with improved clarification for your revisions on your projects. All right, so now we have isolate solids and voids with the filter tool. So for complicated families containing many geometries, it's often very difficult to multi-select only the void or only the solid geometries to make some bulk changes. This new feature allows the use of a filter tool to separate solids from voids by separating them into two different items in the filter list. The geometries not assigned to a specific subcategory show up listed under the family's category instead of displaying other as it did before. So the same differentiation is also now available in the element properties dialog box. So now you can design more efficiently with the ability to separate solids from voids, which makes it faster to work with families and improve productivity when modeling complex families especially. All right, this is another cool one. The per user Revit upload is one of the features I like. This Revit 2016 R2 improves the workflow in collaborative environments when working with linked files by enabling a user to unload links per user, which is cool. And pay attention to that, it's per user. So the new For Me option button in the unload command unloads the Revit links for the current user only. The new option enables you to keep Revit links unloaded for portions of that model that the users are not working on. So if you have multiple users working on the same model, you could actually unload links on your local file and it won't affect the other users. So what this does is it speeds up individuals' workflows so you can focus on what's important to you without impacting the rest of the project team. It's pretty cool. All right, so your improved project browser. So now what you could do is you could use the scroll bar in the project browser, and it remembers its location. Pretty amazing, right? So thanks to this new feature, you don't have to constantly scroll back to the position you were in before switching to another document. Because in previous releases, you'd have to, if you scrolled in your properties to a certain section and you changed your document, your scroll bar would go all the way back to the top. So now it actually remembers where you left off at, and you could go back and change that setting. All right, so name reference plane. So now what you can do is you can name your reference planes by simply clicking directly in Canvas using a new text editor to name the reference planes what you'd like to name them. And this is pretty cool because now you don't have to go into the properties and name them. You can actually just do it right in Canvas and click on the reference plane and name it. So what this does, it makes reference planes more efficiently without having to go to the properties palette, like I said, and change it there. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's move on to some other features and functionality and enhancements specifically for architects. All right, so render quality settings in Revit 2016 R2 is an enhancement to the Autodesk Ray Tracer, which you're probably familiar with, and it enables users to set custom quality settings for your renderings. So what you can do now is you can select from custom settings that enable you to render by level, by time, or until satisfactory. So with the improved render progress dialog box, you can now see detailed progress information about your rendering before the render is actually complete. And the benefit of this is you can use the quality customization options to achieve any targeted rendering result, which is pretty cool. All right. So with this Revit 2016 R2 improvement to edit wall joins, you can now choose whether to allow or disallow wall joins while modeling walls. So once you select the wall command, you can then select the join status or allow or disallow on the options bar before placing your walls. This saves a lot of time versus having to go back and disallow the join of your wall after your walls have been modeled. So what you could do now is while you're drafting or drawing your walls, you just click on the drop down and make it disallow join or allow, and then your walls will be joined or your walls will not be joined. So now you don't have to go back and fix it. You can just set the setting up front and run with it. This is another one I like. Here's another cool one right here, the railing preview. So the Revit 2016 R2 railing preview window feature enables a preview window in the type dialog box to view new or existing railing type shapes, enabling you to manipulate and iterate rail designs in the preview window before placing it in your actual project. So previously, when a railing type was created, it required a railing element defined in the project to be able to review it, its shape, and construction. But now with this new feature, you could do it right there on the fly. So you can design more efficiently with the ability to control model elements before adding them to your project. All right, another favorite of mine, the View Underlay User Interface update in Revit R2 better describes what a user sees underlaid when using the underlay feature in plan views. The view underlay is set to none by default in floor plans when creating a new level, but with this update, plan has been renamed to look down, and reflected ceiling plan has been renamed to look up for a better understanding of what you're looking at. And once I jump into my live session, you could kind of see what I'm talking about this new feature. But it's pretty cool because before there wasn't really any kind of description of what you were looking at, and now they actually do have a drop down for for specific underlay. All right, lastly, let's take a look at some of the new features and enhancements specifically for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors, detailers, engineers, and designers. All right, so in Revit 2016 R2, with the background processing of color fill, color schemes and the associated color fills are updated asynchronously. I have trouble with that word, sorry. Asynchronously, alleviating model interaction delays associated with these computations, such as adding duct or pipe. So historically, whenever a model change would affect a room, space, area, duct, or pipe color fills, each view, whether it was open or not, would have to be processed to update the associated schemes. So you can now update room spaces, HVAC zones, ducts, and pipe color fills using multiple CPUs, improving the response speed of related operations up to about 15%. So based on the new multi-processing framework, this is the latest in a series of multi-CPU features updates that began with the progressive display in Revit 2016. So you also notice when you're using this feature that a temporary hatch indication will pop up when the calculation is in progress. But since now the color fill is processed in the background, which is important, you can experience an improved performance when adding duct and pipe to large models. All right, Revit 2016 R2 features enhancements to fabrication part modeling for both duct and pipe. So the Show Service tool updates the fabrication part browser to show the service of the element selected in Canvas view, making it easier to continue placing related elements. This gives you a more efficient fabrication browser, enabling you to model faster and improve productivity around the office. It also features an improved in-canvas rotation tool for fabrication parts. The enhanced rotation controls also enable you to easily rotate the part on its axis to any desired angle, and you will benefit from more control and improved productivity when rotating connected parts around their connected areas, which has been an issue in the past when rotating families in a model, especially for piping. So also the Insert Part option command makes it easier to place inline parts, such as valves, dampers, and tees, into existing runs of straight segments. So now you can easily place tees, valves, and dampers into model runs, enabling you to model fabrication leveled detail parts more efficiently with the inline part placement tool. So when using fabrication parts in Revit, you can place fittings on the sides of rectangular ducts, such as squared around fittings using tap placement. And once a tap has been placed, it can then be positioned anywhere on the duct surface, improving accuracy with the ability to model taps to sides of ducts according to specifications to meet fabrication requirements. So what the benefit of this is, it improves accuracy and performance with the ability to model efficiently according to certain fabrication specifications. All right, hang in there with me, guys. This PowerPoint show is almost done. All right, so in Revit 2016 R2, you can now define the default rating for newly created circuits, allowing you to tailor your project template to regional requirements. So default circuit rating provides control and flexibility for local needs outside of the United States and simplifies the pre-populating branch circuit panels that may have such breakers attached. So this enables you to tailor circuit default ratings to local standards to meet your design specifications. Another electrical design enhancement helps you when there are only two options for the default distribution system panel. So if you only have two default distribution panels, this feature will help you out. So in prior releases, when placing a panel, the distribution system was always assigned to none. So in this release, if a panel only has a single distribution option, such as 208, 120, this will be assigned automatically. I really like this feature. I wish they had this back when I was still in the industry. All right, and a benefit for this is it'll increase productivity and automatic selection of the default distribution systems and tailored local circuit default ratings. All right, it's about that time to finally move on to my live session and show you a few of the new features and enhancements that I just covered and that are included in the Revit 2016 R2 update. If you guys have any questions during my live session, I will definitely answer them for you at the conclusion of my Lunch and Learn. All right, so let me shut down this PowerPoint really quick and bring up Revit. All right, so first off, I'll go over the family element visibility setting. So right now what I'm doing is I'm looking at a furniture plan that I have set up, 3D furniture plan. So I'm going to zoom into one of these families. I'm going to select this biohazard trash can right here. Just select it and I'm going to edit the family. All right, so now once I'm in the family editor, let me just change my view a little bit to perspective. All right, so now with the R2 update, you have this new setting down here. It's called preview visibility, so you can have it off or on. For this session, I'm going to turn it on. So what this does, it allows you to preview what your family's going to look like before it's inserted into a project. So if I go over here and go through my detail levels, if I click on coarse, there's nothing there. If I go on medium, it's there, and fine, it's there as well. So right now I'm going to change my view really quick to show you the top view. So this is how the top view looks. So it's kind of busy, right? So I'm going to change that to make it look a little bit more clean when inserted into a project. So I'm going to go back to my perspective view and select this really quick. So once I select my family, I'm going to go over here to my properties and my visibility graphics override and edit it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this coarse level to this trash bin just by clicking on the coarse button right there and saying OK. So now when I go to my detail level and I go on coarse, it'll show that. So now it allows you to preview what you're changing in your family before it's inserted in the model. So now that I have this change to the detail level of coarse, and I go change to my top view, that's what you're going to see in your project plan instead of all those casters and the lid and the handles. You're going to actually see this in your plan view. So this family editor setting is very powerful, and it's something that I would like to use, and hopefully you guys will like to use it as well. So that's pretty much that. It's pretty simple. Let me just turn this off. All right. All right, let me move on to another one. So this next one is called the per user Revit upload for current user only. So I'm going to switch my view right here to a different drawing. All right. So right here I'm in a work shared project with multiple links. And if you look at it right now, it looks really busy. A lot of things are going on, and maybe I want to turn some things off or turn off a background to make it more clear for I could design a little bit better. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to my manage and open up my manage links. Oops, don't want to save. So now that I have my manage links dialog box open, I'll point out these new buttons down here for you to look at. So down here on the right, there's a new button called Unload for Me and Clear My Overrides, and we'll go over those right now. So what I'm going to do right now is, say I'm working on a workshed project and I don't want to affect anybody else's project by unlinking views. So I'm going to go over here and unlink the furniture plan and my structural to clear up my drawing a little bit more. And I'm going to go down here and select Unload for Me, which is the new button added with the R2 update. So once I click Unload for Me, if you notice down here on the left, it says this link is unloaded for the current user only, which is cool. So now it just affects me, and it helps me out with my design versus affecting other people's designs who may not want that link unloaded. All right, so I'm going to select OK. And now you notice my links are turned off. And now I can, if I have to design some HVAC to another room, it's a lot more clear for me to see. I don't see any furniture and I don't see any kind of structural beams. So this will help out if you need to do some design really quick on a project, or maybe your computer's running a little bit slow because of all the links attached. So if you unlink it per your user, it'll help you out with your design process. So if I want to bring those guys back, I would just go back to my manage links. I would select those two Revit links and then clear my overrides. Oops, I got some kind of error. Hold on. Oops. I have another drawing open. Hold on, let me shut it down. Just give me a second and I'll get these drawings shut down. All right, let's try it again. Let's go to my manage links right here. Select those two guys and clear my overrides. So what this does, it'll reload my links back to this drawing as I had them before. So see, my furniture plan's back and my structural grids are back, and now I can save my drawing and move on. But this added feature is really great though when working on a large workshed project, and maybe you don't need all of the links loaded in your local file due to your views being too busy, or maybe your Revit performance isn't that great due to all the links. So this is something you're probably going to want to utilize when using Revit R2. All right. All right, for this next one, it's the wall join type. I'm just going to create a new drawing. So I'm just going to go up to my application menu, select new project, and select an architectural template. So now I have a blank sheet. So on this wall join type, it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly create a couple of walls without messing with the new feature. So I'm just going to draw a wall up here, wall down there, just line it up, finish it out. Oops, do that one more time. So I'm going to draw it. Let me add a couple more walls into there. All right, so this is pretty much the old school way of drawing walls, where you had to, once you drew the wall, all the walls are joined. So if you look at my connections, they're all joined. All the way around, they're all joined. So if I actually wanted to go in here and unjoin this interior wall, I'd actually have to click on it, and then right-click on the circle right here, and then disallow join. So now my wall is joined, and I would actually have to go up there and fix it and drag it down. And then I have to do the same thing over here, right-click, disallow join, and then fix my wall to bring it up to the edge. So that's kind of a tedious task to do when you're simply drawing walls. So now with the new wall join type enhancement, I could begin my wall command. So I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to start a wall over here. Just bring it down here. You notice they're still joined, right? So let's do it one more time. I'm going to do a wall command for the interior walls, but over here on my control bar drop down, my options bar, I can select disallow or allow to model my walls, which is cool because before you couldn't do this. Before you'd have to manually do it like I just showed you. So I'm going to go up here, select disallow, then I'm going to draw a couple of interior walls. And now you notice all the interior walls are not joined. You guys see that? So now what this does, it makes modeling walls much easier and faster, and you have much more control of how you do your design without having to go back and fix the wall and disallow the join. So this is a pretty cool feature that was added that I liked a lot. Excuse me. All right, so now let's move on to the view underlay and orientation improvements. So let me just shut this down. No save, and let me open up another model. see, browse. All right, so in the View Underlay and Orientation Improvements Enhancements, what I'm doing right now is I'm opening up my project that has links to it, and I'm going to go to my working second floor, which I have open right now. So if you notice, if I go up to my properties really quick over here and find Underlay, you notice now that Underlay has its own row and its own places to input information. Before it would just say Underlay none, perfected ceiling plan none, stuff like that. But now you could actually see an Underlay bar and then change your settings right here. So what I want to do is I'm going to kind of zoom in right here really quick, go to my Underlay, and I'm going to change this really quick. I'm going to change my base level to, how about ground floor, and look down, click apply. So now you see my ground floor is my Underlay, and I'm looking down for my second floor. So it's a little bit easier to understand what's going on here now with the orientation. You're not just kind of guessing anymore. You actually know that you have an Underlay there, and it's the ground floor is the base level, and you're looking down, which is pretty cool. So if I go back up here and change it to second floor and look up, say apply. So now what it's doing is it knows I'm looking from the base level second floor, but I'm looking up at the reflected ceiling plan. So what this does is that now there's no more guessing at what you are trying to show in your plan view when you're using the Underlay option. Now you know if you're looking up or you're looking down, and you know your base level. So this is another cool feature that I like, and that'll probably help you out with your plan views and inserting them on sheets. So that's another good one. All right, and last one, let's jump into the fabrication part modeling enhancements. So let me close this guy down really quick. I think I'm in the right file here, so let me go over this guy right here. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now, this is just like a little section cut of a MEP system or plumbing system. So I'm gonna go over here and zoom into this blue pipe, and this blue pipe is a part of a fabrication part inside of Revit. So I'm gonna click on it, and once I click on it, I want to go up here and click on the Show Service. And what this does right here is it opens up this canvas to the right that shows me all of the available pieces and fittings and valves that are available for this particular service, which is pretty cool. It saves you from going and looking for more things that might be part of it, but since you just clicked on it and showed the service, you're actually going right to the parts that you can use for this fabrication model. So right now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to over here to the right in the fabrication parts, and I'm going to select this long radius 9, this guy right here. I'm going to zoom into the pipe, and I'm going to place that. So now see how it's easily letting me attach that, which is new to Revit 16. So now I can easily attach that to that point. All right, you saw that. So now once I have the elbow placed on the top, let me kind of show you, go back to the service part browser and show you how efficient it is. So see all these right here? These are parts of that service. So like I told you, you could just go here and grab everything, and it'll go right into that particular pipe. All right, another new feature that was added to this fabrication aspect is if I click on this elbow, I now have control of this elbow as far as rotation. So now if I click right here, I have in canvas rotation, which is an option now with this new Revit R2 release. And I know back before this release, it was a pain in the butt trying to rotate your fittings and pipe fittings and hangers in your design. So with this, you could just do an automatic rotate by clicking on the pipe or the fitting and just clicking on there, and it rotates along the axis, which is pretty cool. There's no more guessing and no more trying to figure out how to rotate my elbow. All right. So one more thing, let me see. Let's talk about the insert part option. So now there's another option that's added with it's called insert part option. which allows you to easily place inline parts such as valves, dampers, and tees into an existing straight piping run like we have here. So I'm going to go back over here to my MEP Fabrication Parts canvas, and I'm going to change the group to valves. And I'm going to try to find an inline valve in here, or maybe this globe valve. So I'm going to select this globe valve, select it, and bring it into my pipe. But before I do, I want to go over here and select Insert Part. And now this will allow me to insert this valve inline on that pipe with no issues. Just automatically just brings it right there in line and drops it in. Oops, let's try that again. No. Hold on with me. I don't know why it's not working now. Give me a second. Oh. Hold on. See if I can save this. I think I have some kind of error due to my central model. Well, anyways, that's just an error with my central model, but if I didn't have that error, I would just grab this valve and it would just easily place right there. Sorry about that malfunction during a live demo, which always seems to happen. All right, so if you are using MEP fabricated parts in your Revit models, using the R2 update will help you design faster and easier with these new enhancements. Just make sure you're using the correct model or central model, unlike I just did right now, and it wasn't able to show you how I added this inline part. All right, so let's move on. Let me bring my PowerPoint up really quick. All right, so let's just summarize what we talked about today. I went over the installation options. Hold on really quick. All right, let's just summarize really quick. So this pretty much concludes my What's New in Revit 2016 R2 Lunch and Learn. I hope you guys enjoyed it, minus that last little error I had. So now let's just go over what we talked about and what I showed you today before we jump into our Q&A session. So we talked a little bit about your installation options when it comes to installing Revit 2016 R2. You can install through the Autodesk Application Manager, or you can install through your Autodesk Manage account. Like I said, if you need help with this, just please give me a call and I will help you out as best as I can. I also went over all of the new features and enhancements included in Revit 2016 R2 that provide you with faster software performance, smarter tools, and better professional productivity. And during my live session, I showed you a handful of the new features and enhancements in Revit R2 that caught my attention, which were the family element visibility setting, the per user Revit link load, the wall join type, the view underlay and orientation improvements, and last but not least, the fabrication part modeling enhancement. All right, so if you have any questions, please type them into the GoToMeeting chat panel, and I'll answer them as they come in. And I do think we already have a couple in there, so let me go through those first. Terry, I might need your help on this one, Terry, but let me ask the question first. So this person wants to know, how do I become a subscription customer so I can install the R2 update? I think there's a couple of options, right, Terry?
Right. The first and foremost thing is I would encourage you to call, and in that way we can see exactly what your license situation is. So call Ketiv 866-465-3848, and you can ask for me, Terry, or Alex, or Eric, and we'll be glad to find out what your license situation is. That said, if you have a current version of software and you would like to put it on to subscription because you didn't do so when you acquired it, that can be done. The other way is to get what's called a desktop subscription, which is essentially a rental license, and a desktop subscription comes with all of the rights and benefits of a perpetual license on maintenance subscription, meaning you can get those updates in that fashion.
All right. And there's another question. Are there any videos online that go over the new features in R2 that you didn't show in your live session? Yes, there is. On the Autodesk Building Solutions YouTube channel, I think it is, you will find about 20 or 25 short videos on most of the topics that I just covered. And you know what? I think I will include the link to those videos on my Lunch and Learn follow-up PDF. So keep an eye out for that. I will include that link on that PDF. So just keep an eye out for that, and I'll get it to you. All right. Oops. Any more questions, Andy?
I think that's all we got.
That's it? Okay, cool. All right, so wrap up before I let you all go. Here's a quick wrap up for today's Lunch and Learn. Like I said, I will be sending out a follow-up PDF on today's topic via email sometime next week. So keep an eye out for that. And I will also include the link to those videos on that follow-up PDF. My next Lunch and Learn will be taking place on Wednesday, December 16th at noon. And the topic will be it'll be off the Revit topic, and it'll be on AutoCAD architecture, basic architectural objects. And as far as upcoming training classes that I do have scheduled, I have a Revit art class, 2016 fundamentals class taking place December 21st through the 23rd. So if you're interested in attending my training class, please visit our website to sign up, or please contact me directly. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our Ketiv YouTube channel for videos and tips and tricks from different softwares, and I think my videos might be up there as well pretty soon. All right, and thanks again, everybody, for attending my Lunch and Learn.